We've both spent a bit of time in this area over the years, and we were planning another trip in here, so we thought it'd be pretty cool to bring a couple of cameras in with us and try and tell a bit of a story.
So we're just packing up our gear for the next 8 days in the hills. We'll be carrying 4 days of food with us, and then we'll have another 4 days of food flown into a food stash. We've got all our filming equipment set up over here, and the rest of it is other just bits and pieces, clothes and cookeries and whatnot. So we'll pack all that up and then get on the road.
Okay, well we've just arrived at where we're going to get picked up by the helicopter. Hopefully it should be here in the next few minutes. The weather looks a little bit ordinary, to be honest, so with a bit of luck we'll get in today. Should be good. We've just arrived, been dropped off by the helicopter. Weather's pretty average, to be honest, so should be a interesting 4 days ahead. So we've got 4 days to work our way around to the food drop, where we've got another 4 days worth of food, and yeah, so 8 days all up. It's, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We spent what was left of the day searching for deer. We spotted a few early on, but they weren't what we were looking for. The weather got slowly worse into the evening, so we were forced into the tent for an early night. Oh well, we've picked up quite a nice stag basin, maybe about 3k away from where we are at the moment through the spotter. Looks to be quite nice. He's in a pretty difficult spot for an approach. Should we be lucky enough to kind of see him again, because he's definitely not on the cards for today, but yeah, promising stuff.
With the wind gradually worsening as the day went on, the deer slowly moved back into the bush. So the only thing left to do was head back to camp.
We've given this area a pretty good crack over the last day or so, nothing of real interest to keep us here, so time to pack up the tent and head further up the valley. The weather forecast proved right, as we got the rain and the wind we were expecting. Although chances of seeing anything were slim, we decided to head out for a look anyway. We've not long got back to camp after popping our head over into another catchment to have a look for a few deer. Unfortunately no deer, and for obvious reasons really. So 20 to 5 now, and I think the rest of the day will be spent collecting rainwater.
Day 4 was a day of walking, so it was good to finally get some nice weather. After climbing up onto the main divide, we worked our way along the ridgeline. Later that afternoon, we came across something closer to what we were looking for. It was good to see a promising looking stag, but we were holding out for something older and a bit bigger. But you never get sick of these close encounters. Little beauty.
Food.
There you go, boy.
Cheers. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Oh dear.
Well, after a big day on the feet today, we stumbled into camp by headlight earlier this evening. Well, it's been a big day on the feet today. Stumbled into camp just after dark. It's been a bit of a tedious, slow-going sort of day today because we had to travel through some broken exposed sort of rock country and things. But this is the camp that we have the food drop at, so we're a couple of pretty happy lads turning up here tonight. Pigged out, ate all the good stuff first, so it's all good.
So it's a bit of a frost out there. It's not a frost.
Mine was rubbish. It's a bit of a frost out there. It's not a frost.
So it's pretty cold out there this evening. We're expecting a little bit of a frost in the morning. So with a bit of luck, that should have the stags going. Plan tomorrow is to head up into a new catchment that we saw a stag with a bit of potential earlier on in the trip through the spotting scope. So with a bit of luck, hopefully some things go to plan.
See how things go. Oh, you do the thumbs. Oh, you can't do the thumbs.
Unfortunately, we didn't bump into that stag again, but it was still an awesome day on the tops. But nothing lasts forever, as later that afternoon, the clouds started to roll in, and it stayed that way for the rest of the evening. Shortly after filming this, the tent pole snapped under a strong gust of wind, which had us clambering about in the dark, trying to pack everything up. We lost a few things blown away as we made our way off the tops, but we couldn't help but have a laugh about it.
Well, we've not long got down to the river from the tops. Managed to pick some pretty horrendous looking bush to work our way down from, which was not ideal. As you can see, the weather's pretty horrendous as well. And also managed to snap a leg off the tripod to boot. So pretty testing times this morning, but I guess you've got to try and find the positives here somewhere.
Soaking wet and cold, we arrived at the hut, so it was great to be able to get a fire going and dry everything out.
Well, we've been at it the past 5 or 6 hours this morning with no luck on the stags. We're starting to feel pretty worn out, so we've dropped down to the river. We'll have a good feed, have a bit of a kip, and then try our luck again this evening. After a full day stalking the bush, with no luck, we finally got a break later that evening.
Sorry mate, couldn't see him.
Right, he's just dropped up ahead of us here.
Tidy, Pete. Well done, mate.
Thanks, mate. That could not have panned out better.
Gives us a wee look. It's funny how luck changes pretty quick, eh?
Luck changes, but we've worked for him. Wow, that has just panned out perfectly. We've worked pretty bloody hard for this stag here. We're on to day 7 now, down in the bush, and down valley from the hut there, and let out a few roars this evening. And this guy responded, and he sort of came into us, we moved into him. Everything was going to plan. He sort of walked into view there, and we were able to tell that he was a nice mature looking stag, and we're lucky enough to get the shot off. So we're absolutely stoked with how that's panned out.
By the time we took care of the meat off the stag, it was getting pretty late, so we decided to make camp in the bush and spend the night under the fly.
Well, we're just heading back to where we've left the meat from Pete's stag hanging in the tree. We had one more final crack at a morning hunt earlier on when we had a small break in the weather, which was very short-lived before it come in again. And I think we're both fairly tuckered out now. We've just used our final bit of food, so I think it's fair to say we've had enough for one trip.
We feel incredibly privileged to be able to experience these wild places and the animals that freely roam them. The ongoing management of these environments is something we're passionate about, and it would be great to see this continue for the years to come.